So first of all, what I mean with the lack of transparency is that like you never know what is going to happen in the game. And you don't know why stuff happens in the game. Like they don't really tell you in detail why they do certain things, if they even have knowledge of what's going on in the game. Because most of the time, let's be honest, when they do balance patch and they add in the description, yeah, we've been listening to the community, guys. This is what we're gonna do, and then we get the harpoo buffs. Like like it's hard to tell. Do you guys remember? I don't really remember what patch it was, but they gave us like detailed information of why they did certain stuff and what made them think of doing that. But also, it's not only that. I might be asking much, but it's a fucking it's a gacha fucking company. They make billions and they sell digital assets, which doesn't really need production other than maybe. Wait, Alex Coman, are you here, man? I would love to have this discussion with you.
12 seconds later.
Hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you guys hear him? Or do you hear my fan?
I'm your fan.
Shut the fuck up. Okay, I'd like to have this discussion with you.
Yes.
I want you... the thing is, I like every time I bring up this shit, you always have something to argue against, or you have something of worth to bring to the table. So that's why...
All right.
That's why we invited you today, Senor Alex Coman.
Thank you.
No, but so So my beef with Comtois, there's a lot of shit that is like I have a lot of beef with them.
Yeah, I know.
And one of them is that it's the lack of transparency. And what I mean with the lack of transparency in this sense is that. It also, I know last time I said this, you also came with some counter arguments. But the kind of counter arguments you gave me was something that could be solved if they were transparent enough. Like giving us some good teasers, you know, about balance patches in this sense that like they've promised before this. It's very inconsistent, you know, the balance patches in the game. It's very, very inconsistent. Like, I don't really remember. Like, what I remember, like, a couple of years ago, is that they said, "Okay, guys, listen. This is what's gonna happen with balance patches. We're gonna push out balance patches every 3 months. Every 3 months." I remember this, but I could also have been dreaming this. So, I need to find that proof. Take it with a grain of salt. Because I only have this knowledge in my head. I don't really remember if it's true or not, but I feel like we got that information like a couple of years ago that they were going to give us balance patches every 3 months or something. And then time went, and then I still thought that we would get balance patches every 3 months, but then I got these counter claims about, no, where the fuck did he get that information? 3 months? No, what they've said is going to be after every season they will give us the balance patches. And where the fuck are the balance patches after every season? Like, it's been very inconsistent, and you don't really know when something is going to happen within the game. It just comes out like random, and it's I don't know. I don't feel like that's a healthy way to treat the players.
Yeah. Well, developers usually dig themselves in a hole when they promise something and then they can't keep their promise. Right? So, I mean, that happens to almost every developer. They say, guys, you know, we're gonna do something, and then they don't do something. And usually that's why they like to stay silent with most things. Because if they promise something goes wrong, and they can't keep their deadline, then players get angry. And if they keep their deadline, but they don't do what the players want, then everybody's also mad again.
Yeah.
So they don't win in any way by saying, we're gonna give you 3 months, or 4 months, or a year, or doesn't really matter. So that's why
my beef is why do they do certain buffs? You know, like what went through their mind? What went through their developing process when they thought that it was a good idea to buff Alexandra and not Han? Like, and or why did they buff Alexandra? Why did they buff Molong? Or why, like, these types of things? You know, it's nice to know. Because if you have a lot of people complaining, why did they buff this? Like I saw a lot of they buffed Poseidon a lot, you know, and people were really confused. Why did they buff Poseidon every time? Like, Poseidon is good enough, and then they added speed scaling on third skill, speed scaling 2-turn Oblivion on second skill, and people were complaining why they did that. So it would. A lot of the complaints might disappear. Not everything will disappear, but a lot of the complaints will disappear if they have the transparency, if they give you information of why they did certain stuff.
They also don't like to buff, or okay, so I'm not speaking for them, of course, but my presumption is that they don't want to feel like the players are completely dictating the development of the game. They're just, you know, if they say, let's say you and 100 more pro players in this game say that something needs a buff, and then they buff it, they feel like it's they don't want to, you know, feel like it's they're just listening to you guys, right? Of
course.
And they try to also they also do a lot of tests and all that, and that's why it may seem like, I mean, everybody knows this. There is the pro scene, there is, you know, the people that don't play that much RTA like me, right? I do play the game, I do enjoy some aspects of the game a lot, but I don't play that much RTA. So they take some of my records and say, oh, look, this guy doesn't use Gani Hathor, or this guy doesn't, you know. So then there's a reason for them to not nerf them. Maybe they say, okay, if we nerf Gani Hathor, then like 80% of the meta will be different, and then people won't enjoy the game anymore. So they're trying to keep everything in balance, and it's very hard to do so. And if they listen to you, then maybe something else breaks that you don't realize, or maybe they just don't want to listen.
Do you think if I mean, this is a very long shot.
Okay.
But do you think if they made a separate skill sets for monsters depending on RTA, like if they do now this is a very like a weird, and I haven't really thought it through well enough to give this opinion, but I'm gonna still give it. Let's say so the issue is that they don't want to make a lot of balance patches to cater to end game players, and in the end it might actually affect the new players as well in a negative way. And when I say end game players, for me, I feel like most of the end game players play RTA, like most, and that's what they most what probably keeps them playing the game. That it's the competitive side of the game. What if and like as I said, it's not a well thought through process of mine, but if they did implement some kind of that they have a skill set for PvE and then skill set for RTA, that way they don't really have to think through certain shit. Like they can balance units just specifically for RTA, and then they have the same skill set for PvE.
Yeah, they probably won't do that.
Yeah. I mean,
they won't do that just because it's very confusing for of course, for pro players it won't be confusing because you do study the game a lot, but like if a new player comes to the game, what the hell? You know, what's happening? Why does my thing don't do the thing? Right. So it's pretty bad to I mean, they're in a very rough spot. Very rough spot because it's a pay to win, you know, like, okay, it's not okay, it's weird to say, right? It's pay to win because you need to get the units, right? It's pay to win because you
I
need to
mean,
get the runes.
the issue is that a lot of new players face is that they want to explore the whole content of the game, every content of the game, and there are limitations. They have to. They can't really start the game and expect to be as good as endgame players in RTA. And they can be skillfully. They can be as good if they want to. Like they know how to draft, they know what to ban, etc. But when it comes to rune death and monster death, it's they're at a disadvantage. So that's the issue.
Of course,
that's the issue, and that's I don't know, and that's probably why a lot of people
think about it. If you if you take a game like Dota or League of Legends, right, where you have 100 something or close to 200 units that you need to balance, that's very hard. But think about it. But everyone is playing on an even playing field. Everyone gets access to those units and everyone gets access to every item. Now think about to balance that kind of game where every player is on a different playing field. It's literally impossible. I think Summer's War is impossible to balance, to cater to every player. Yes, they can cater to you. They can cater to legend players. They can cater to G3, G1, G2, or they can cater to everyone. And then part of the players will be mad, and part, everyone you can't please everyone in this game.
Can you give me some reasoning by why you think they can't, why it's almost impossible
it's just
to make it work?
It's just too many variables. Like if you let's say, right, you can make your game work with the units you have with the runes you have, but you still miss key units, right? Like let's say Raki, and you do feel like it's you need her sometimes. And let's say if you had access to all the units, and if you have access to all the not necessarily all the runes, but one of the better runes, you would feel like the game is not that imbalanced. But if you have access to limited resources, then you would feel like the game is a bit unbalanced in that sense. It's because like almost every player would need balancing according to their monster box and to their runes, in a way. And that's why it's harder or almost impossible to balance this game. It's hard to balance a game like Dota and League of Legends. Players always complain about that. Yeah. It's almost hard to balance a game like CSGO or Valorant, because the attacking team has a advantage, the defensive team has an advantage. Now take those variables and make them like 5,000 more variables than that, in a way, right? So they're in a very tough spot. If they balance something else breaks. Like they wanted to balance Miho, they broke something else.
Of course.
They want to balance Gani, they broke some. No, they nerfed Gani how many times, right? So it's.
Yeah, I mean, Gani was very strong in the beginning, having strip, ventilate, all that shit.
Of course,
he could ventilate himself. He could strip into third skill, and also that in the beginning, I don't know if a lot of people knew this, but in the beginning of RTA, Vayu procs had no limitation. So in RTA, like you could proc infinitely if you had the chance to do it. So but like they have improved RTA. Like
yes, I'm just saying, but you still feel like Gani Hathor is used and strong, right? It's not. But we don't know if they nerf. Everyone says this. If you nerf Gani Hathor, we don't know what will happen, right? What do you think will happen if, let's say, if they nerf Gani Hathor? Okay, let's say, nobody uses them anymore. What do you think it will happen, right?
No, I mean, so here's the thing. I don't really want them to nerf or I mean, So my solution, basically, I think it's a pretty good solution, and it seems to be working in different games. But you can't really compare those types of games with Summoners War. You know, it's not, it's almost, as you say, impossible to do that.
Yeah.
But I think 100% that a rotation of monsters weekly or bi-weekly or whatever can give a different type of spice into RTA. It could be a rotation of what monsters you can use, or a rotation of what monsters you cannot use. But at the same time, it also comes down to rune quality. But my suggestion, at least to appease to the end game players, to make it a bit more, because my fundamental stress right now is that it's not changing. You know, it's still the same shit over and over again. You don't really see anything different. People still play with what's safe for them, and they'll keep playing that type of comp throughout the whole season, just to get to a point in RTA where you feel safe and then you don't have to do RTA anymore. But what if you implement a rotation where those people that feel safe playing those type of drafts are forced to play something different, making it a bit difficult for them to gain those points because they're forced to think more.
Yeah, but you need to do that only after G2, G1 or G2.
Yes,
you can't force everyone.
No, exactly. Well, that's a lot of things. That's why a lot of people have been complaining when I say that. Because I would say that you could implement that for C2, C3 above, and everyone else in the below that can use whatever the fuck.
It's true, but then let's say I've been playing for a while. Maybe I'm spending a bit, but I'm spending on rune packs, right? Because runes define everything mostly. Yeah. And I'm winning. I know I'm the smartest shithead there, and I'm winning. But let's say I reach G1, and then I can't use my units, which with which I win.
Yes.
You know, that's it's again. You can't please everyone.
No, but that's the consequence. Like, if that's a consequence of climbing, like it's a ladder. The higher you go, it's more difficult, you know. And that's and the way the current state of RTA right now is that it's like you can use the same comp from rank 1 million up to rank 1 if it works. You know, it's just stupid because it's something that can work all seasons, and it's very like the balance patches we get is too slow for it to change to make it any impactful change to that specific Exodius comp. Like I think some people say.
I know.
It shouldn't be the same shit over and over again, because a lot of people will get bored of it eventually if it's going to be the same shit. Sure, it's really fucking fun to win. Ha! It's really nice. I'll twist my hard nipples any day for that shit. But for me, it's not always about just winning, because if I win, I mean, I could use, let's say, Miho. Miho is almost always a force spend for some situations. I can use Gani Hathor, but I fucking at the same time I feel bored playing it. So eventually I lose because I'm too bored playing it, you know. But some people, they're just really dedicated to winning, and it's and they don't really like it. And that's all good. Like I don't complain about that shit. It's just Comtois has enabled that. They should make it a bit more. I don't know. They should make it a bit more diverse. That's all I'm asking. Instead of having the same shit over and over again. And it's been like this for the. How many seasons do we have of RTA right now? It's 11 or 12 seasons. And
something
it's
like that.
Been the same. Like, except for the 13 seasons,
13.
First season was something that everyone, people were exploring RTA, you know? They were trying to find out what would work. So I would say the first 1 to 2, or maybe even 3 seasons, it was seasons of exploration of what to find out what works, and that's why it was more diverse because people didn't really know what really worked. And also, it's not the same as today because back then you had infinite amount of procs. So Anivil was a really good unit because you could proc, you know.
Of course. Yeah.
And Diana was also even more toxic back then. So like they are doing changes, but it's
slow,
frustratingly too slow, you know. Especially for the people that can't really find pleasure within the game outside of RTA, you know. They see this game as a farming simulator to get better rune quality, get better monsters, so you can play RTA so you can do better in RTA. And then there's vice versa, you know, the other people that like they don't really care about RTA. They just want to play this as a farming simulator because it's time consuming.
Pretty colors.
Yeah,
time consuming. It's true. So yeah, the thing is that and I hear this on podcasts, I hear this, you know, with you, with many people, is that you're viewing it from your I just saw the image. It's good. You're viewing it from the perspective of a high-ranking player or a player who has lots of stuff in the game, and you're not. I'm not saying you're not thinking about the little guy in playing RTA. It's just that, again, this won't be
optimal.
Yeah, it won't be if it's gonna be optimal for you, and when I'm saying you, I'm meaning like G1 plus. It's gonna be shitty for the little guys like me, let's say, because I don't play that much RTA. If it's gonna be good for me, since now it's starting to be good for more free-to-play players, right? Miho is, like, as you said, almost always a must ban. Because it's accessible, although I still don't have it. I don't know what the hell.
You will get there.
6 light ones, but yeah. So no, this game is impossible to balance. I'm sometimes negative when it comes to this, but I don't think they can do it. They dug themselves so much with this type of game that it won't be able to. If you will say, I enjoy playing, this is diverse, this is awesome, then players will come to the game and say, why can't I do this, why can't I do this, you know. It's
I mean, people are already doing that, and I don't think it's going to be more of that because of I mean, I know this is what goes through their minds as well. Like, we can't just do this and appease to the end game players just because they want something. But
because they need fresh blood in the game.
They need fresh blood, but at the same time, it's just in the end. What did you said something last time, like in chat, not today. You said something about it's what they had in mind when they created this game was maybe just a cash grab, and then
but
it became too successful.
It became so much more, right?
Yeah,
like most of the games like this like Summoners War are cash grabs, and they ended up making it successful, and they probably didn't expect this. And I was like a bit more referring to the engine of the game. Right, so let's talking less about balance and more about the graphics. Let's say, like, if you take like a modern game, right? So maybe this doesn't interest you this much, but I find it fascinating how this game, looking like this, like one character having so few elements, so few, let's say, if you know, polygons, having 100 of them on screen can lag your island so much. That's because the engine is not, it's 7 years old almost, and they need to invest so much to make it better. And that's what I was saying. Like, they didn't think about optimizing it from the start. They can add to it, but they apparently are not doing it. So that's why it's, I don't know.
Someone is saying
They could improve it so much. They could improve it so much, man.
Saying
Let's see.
the thing is, it might look that way. So we have someone saying that hell no,
Yeah.
Summoners War didn't start off as a cash grab. Get your
Okay.
facts straight. Can you counter that?
Well, no. I mean, yes, opinions can differ, and the developers may say, "Oh no, it's of course we didn't start as a cash grab game," but it's you can look at what companies are doing with mobile games, right? They just cast a net and hope they can bring all the fish in. And this is an analogy as well to whales and dolphins and all like that, and amoebas and whatever the fuck you want to say. It's those are mobile games. I'm really sorry to burst your bubbles. Most mobile games are cash grabs, and you can see it in how they age. Most don't even surpass the one. They don't even have a birthday. Right, most mobile games don't even have a birthday because they tend to fizzle out and come to us seeing this as their 6th anniversary, and yes, as you said, right, we're seeing improvements on the balance, but and less at the graphics, because they can't add more because the engine is so outdated. And it takes so much time to even make improvements on the goddamn UI, and it's I don't know, man. It's weird, but yes, like, okay, maybe by any stretch of the imagination, they didn't think of it as a cash grab game, but they need to do more improvements. Yes, they need to do more improvements on balancing, but like, let's say, okay, you come to this game now, right, as a new player. What would you think, right? 6 years ago, sure, this game looked awesome. But now it looks, it looks like shit.
It looks like shit, yeah, except for some instances of the game. Like, it feels like Dimensional Hole has a whole new engine, like graphically, Dimensional Hole looks better than everything else
it looks
in the
better,
game.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that would, in this sense, if they revamp the whole like the graphic department of the game, I mean, not the department, but the whole content of the game into what Dimensional looks like that would be really, that would be a nice thing.
We were discussing about this while I was when we on chat, I was typing that. Yes, because they're very different sides of the company have come to us, of course. Like the one doing revamping dragons, let's say, making it look a lot better. If like maybe 40% of the players care about that, or maybe a bit less. Of course, endgame players don't care about it because they don't look at their phone when farming.
Exactly.
But a new player will care about it.
Yeah.
And it's they are not the same people. They're not the same department. They're not the same. Yes, they're the same that do skins. They are the same that that do the Dimensional Hole stuff. So it's I don't know why they're not doing this. It's really, really strange to me. Like the graphics part of the graphics department, like, really seems like they're lagging a lot. And I don't know why.
The mentality might be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it could be that it's don't change what isn't broken, But it is broken.
But it is broken.
Yeah. Because like the battery life of the game, it's insane. Like if you play another game like on your phone that looks so much better, has higher graphics quality compared to this game, that will drain less than 50% of what this drains.
It's true.
It's insanely Like my phone, as soon as you do, what content is it in the game that drains most battery? I think it's R5. Like I've noticed when you do R5, my battery drains immensely. I think even RTA and R5 is what drains your battery so much. But every other offline type of offline in quotation drains less battery. Like
it's because that's how they coded it. Because when doing R5, you actually are communicating with other players, network-wise, I mean. And when farming, the game actually you don't need to be connected to the internet to play. You need to be connected when you start the run and when you end the run. And that's really, I mean, that's brilliant, you know, because if not, like every move your character will make that sends a ping to the server and then it comes back and then, you know, but they just do it like this, which is very, very efficient from a mobile standpoint. Yeah. So, you know, yeah, just fix your game.
No, I mean it's like, so here's a lot of, like, you see a lot of shit in the game. People complaining about this and that. It's almost always very, very narrow things, you know. Nerf Miho, and it's as you said in the beginning of when we talked. If you nerf Miho, something else becomes stronger, and you will continuously start saying, "Oh, fucking nerf that unit," and then it becomes a chain.
It's just
around.
It's
a chain, and it will loop. You know, it suddenly. What I've noticed, you know, when people were really, really complaining about Diana, what did they do? They implemented Antares. Yes. And now people are complaining about Antares being... and I agree, Antares is a really fucking stupid unit. It just takes away the skillfulness of what could be in RTA. And then what did they do to counter Antares? I don't think they implemented anything. But they also then added in Miho, who could be used as a... I mean, Miho is basically almost a counter to anything, you know? So...
it's
exactly. So it's just it's not a well-rounded, but it's a very OP, it's a very strong unit, and you can basically luck sec through that unit. But I think Antares is more of a luck sec than Miho would be, because Miho doesn't really do anything unless you accidentally crit on her, or you don't do anything to her, like you don't even control her, you just let her fucking fuck everyone.
It's just because, like everyone says, I mean not everyone, but you know, it's they don't have zero crit, so you literally are making a unit that...
How would you think the game like if they removed the base crit rate?
The base crit rate, that's weird, because you need more crit on runes then, right? You need a wider
Would it be a negative thing? Because now you have to focus a bit more on crit rate, and maybe crit rate leads might be stronger because of it.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I guess.
I mean, I think it would be. I mean, it's a bit stupid thing, you know, because you have monsters you have shit in the game like crit rate that has no less base than 15%. And it makes it impossible to, in certain situations where some monsters are activated, like the skills are activated based on the opponent's crit rate, like Ragdoll and Miho. And it makes it impossible for us to counter that, because even if we have 15%, there's still a 15% chance for us to...
Yeah, and it does seem like it's 90% when you when you're on the receiving end of it, right?
Yeah.
Your 15% seems like it's always critting, which is
more variables
it could be
to take into account. No, not easy. Yeah, exactly, GC. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's yes, they do have a lot of variables to think about. Yeah, they didn't probably, or maybe they thought about it, but when releasing or modifying Miho or Second Awakening Miho, right? With this, yes, everyone crits. Yeah, it's very nice. right? So then they don't think that they will have such a backlash with such a broken unit. And yeah, making it 0 crit for everyone and just having awakening crits like they do have, and making it harder to get crit rate, which already is, in my opinion, to get proper crit rate, especially, you know, with not enough not enough efficient runes, like for people like me. Maybe for you know, for high-end people, but it will fuck up everyone. Imagine, right? Like people that have
I mean,
their...
I understand what type of situation Comtus is in, but
just because of one unit.
Not just because of one unit, just because of the... I mean, yes, just because of a
No.
unit.
I'm this situation. I mean, just because of one unit. They need to think about removing crit for every monster in the game because of one monster in the game. Or
I mean,
you
it's
know,
not
one
just
and a
because...
half
I mean, we have art as well. Like, there's a lot. There's some... I don't know exactly what monsters activate on crit rate. I know Arta does, Ragdoll does.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then we have
Arta,
Neo.
yes.
Yeah. So I don't really know any other monsters. Maybe chat knows, but the
Slimes activate.
Camilla, Dark Yeti. What's his name? Joltan.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, Joltan activates on crit rate. What a lich.
So yeah, why aren't they used? Because they're
just not relevant.
They're not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could nerf Miho, right? Just remove the attack bar, you know, remove all the additional stuff behind, or not behind, but besides the crit rate activation. And that would solve the problem.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a tight spot, but it's also a bit stale, you know, when you don't see a lot of changes. But just because of they're in a tight spot doesn't mean that they shouldn't do changes more frequently. I think more frequently would be nice for them, and it doesn't have to be like game-changing changes, just frequent changes, just for the sake of feeling that yes, this game is doing a lot of changes pretty fast as well. And I don't think changes as in so a lot of there's this misconception, you know, and I have this misconception sometimes when I'm very fucking tilted in the game, that they release cosmetics, but they don't do balance patches.
Yeah, but it's
yeah. Go ahead.
You know, it's not the same department, right? So the artist that's doing the concept and doing the execution, or two or three artists that do that, because one does the concept, one does the model, one maybe does the animation and stuff like that. So there are multiple people working on just one skin, right, or one cosmetic for or you know, maybe another one that's doing the effects on it. So there are a few people working on just one skin. There's not just one. So, and you know, other nerds doing the balancing. So it's really, you don't need to be mad if someone somebody is they could be releasing like literally just looking at this at the game and how it looks and how the skins look. They could be releasing one, let's say, every 1 month and a half, maybe 2 months, but they're releasing it a bit slower as well. They could have more. They could have more diverse selection of skins.
You know, like the biggest issue is that it's the reason we perceive it as very fucking slow is because once they do a change, that change, it's not that many units that they touch upon. You know, it's like we have a monster box of what is it now, 1,200 monsters. Sure, a lot of them are 1 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars and shit. But I would say at least 30-40% of them, I mean like 400 to 500 of them is at least something that people use, you know, on a day-to-day basis, like in PvE and in RTA and in PvP. The fact that we feel they're just touching touching on very few units and forcing people to wait 2 to 3 months to touch upon like
You're
20...
referring this as balance or
Yes, I'm referring this
skins?
as
As
to
balance.
balance patches. Yes, and that's
Yeah.
why we have these like frequent complaints. But I don't think either way. I think the more you give people, the more people the more people
course.
want. You know.
Yes.
Yes. So it's hard to fucking say. You know, if they start giving us what we really want, then we're gonna find out something else to complain
Exactly.
about. But
It's-
I don't think that's
Yeah.
a negative thing though, because it's healthy for the company for us to find other stuff to complain about. You know, because that's like now that we have what we want. Now we're basically their Q&A team, you know. We find out
Yeah.
shit for them to sort out, because now we're focusing on specific stuff in the game that we really just want them to fix, and that's where the biggest voice is, you know. And then when they fix that voice, there's another big voice that will appear, and we're gonna start complaining about that, and then they're gonna have to adjust to that. I don't think it's necessarily a negative thing. I think it's pretty healthy for us to complain. Because it gives them, we're just their Q&A team.
Yeah, it's a good analogy would be, you know, like a sinking ship, the game. Developers trying to patch up the holes, and other developers trying to empty the boat, and you cover a hole, and then 3 other holes appear, and more water is coming in. Then you cover those, and then others open, and the other one that you close opens again. So it's really a game of covering as many holes as you can, and that's maybe a euphemism. And you know.
Yeah, I mean that is a correct. I mean that would be a correct euphemism, because it is true. Like if we nerf Miho, another shit will come up. If we nerf Antares, another shit will come up. If we nerf Gani Hathor, another shit will come up. But I think they should do something about a specific unit that has been dominating the RTA the whole ever since RTA started. And it also is one of the more toxic units to fight against in RTA, because when it comes to Hathor specifically, the fact that she can enable her whole team to rotate many more turns than your opponent, even if they're in 12%, it will feel like they're on 100%, but just because we're slept, and they will have, and then the 12% will be more higher chance of proccing, just because it's many more 12% that they have to go through, you know, and we're just sitting ducks, sleeping until we get fucked, and it's just a bad fucking feeling to fight a unit that is just so I don't know if endearing is the word. I don't know what endearing means, but I just felt like it just sounds nice saying it. Endearing is like a negative way of saying it's good or something. I don't know what it means. Obnoxious.
No,
yes, thank you.
Obnoxious is
yes,
good.
obnoxious is
yes.
Oppressive.
Yes,
yeah,
it's. We'll see what will happen, but my opinion is they can't fix everything. They won't be able to fix everything. If they fix something, something else will break, and will just be the perpetual complaining and fixing game if they want to.
But they should.
But they're so secretive. That's the problem, as you said.
Yes.
They're not transparent enough, but they don't need to be. For the average player, it seems like, you know, it's so easy to view everything from your perspective. I mean, it's literally the easiest thing that you can do, but viewing it from their perspective, and you know, from the average player's perspective, people don't care about it that much, right?
Not really.
So why should they care? Right, but you do showcase this to a lot of people on Twitch, on I don't know, whatever streaming platform there is. But we are still even every streamer and every viewer is still like probably under 0.5% of the population that plays this game.
100%. That's I mean. The people that are streaming this, the community of Twitch is
Yeah.
it's not really big in terms of how many players are playing the game, you know.
No.
But
Yeah, you can't gauge the health of
Yeah.
it.
but the thing is, the issue is that we just don't see a lot of changes, you know.
Yeah.
And it's pretty slow, and the
They could do.
transparency, as you say, they're not forced to do it, but it's nice, you know. It's nice to know what they're thinking and what might come. I would honestly, I don't even need balance patch right now. I just want them. I just want to know if there's going to be a balance patch or what the balance patch is.
Yeah, you just want to know to say, so they would tell you, yeah, it's broken. You know, you just want to get acknowledged.
I just want the acknowledgement. Yes, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the issue, and I think people should complain, but a lot of the complaints are very narrow-minded. You know, remove Miho from the game, but what then? Like
Yeah,
there's
that's
a lot of
problem.
people.
Like, people think about the now, right? The now, and not about the later.
Yeah.
What comes if they do nerf Hathor? What
Yeah.
comes if they do nerf Miho, or Antares, or
Yeah. It's a lot of people complaining about, okay, remove Miho because she's just toxic without saying any reasoning, like giving any fundamental, like good, what do you call it? Not criticism, good
reasoning
reasoning behind it.
Behind it, yeah.
It's just remove it. I see a lot of people in like in 65. I'm not gonna mention exactly who it is, but I like he knows who it is. He's watching the stream right now. Fix accuracy and resistance come to us every day, very consistently on the channel 65. But yeah, without giving any reasoning, any good reason to why they should do it.
Yeah, people
just,
like to
just
complain.
do it. Just do it, as the great Shia LaBeouf says. You know.
Yeah, and you know, they're very afraid. Probably, I don't know exactly why. It's just no balls. But no, it's they could. I don't know. Maybe they're afraid that people don't know how to read smaller numbers or smaller increments. Right? They could like just make adjustments, little adjustments to stuff. Right? Like Miho could decrease attack bar by maybe half, or maybe by one. You know, instead of, let's say, 50%. I'm not sure how much it does decrease, but make it 48. You know, instead of 50. Just play with the numbers more. Why do they do it? Right?
They should.
It's really
100% should. Like they shouldn't be afraid. If they don't nerf Miho, then buff couple of monsters that can kill Miho easily. That's easy. Don't tell me there is Rocky and Firebar. No, but the thing is, Disil, is if they create something that can easily kill Miho, the issue is that it might become so fucking OP that people will start complaining about those units. That, like,
because
it will become a ripple effect in the end.
Exactly like it became with Antares, exactly like it became with Miho, right? People were complaining, we can't beat those LD5 abusers. Okay, here's a unit, is a 3-star LD that can beat everyone in the game.
Eventually,
go play with it.
Yeah. Then it will never end for sure. I mean, that's the thing. That's how unfortunately the game feels like right now. When they implement a monster, it just feels it's too strong or too weak sometimes. Like we can take the Beast Riders as an example. I feel like the Beast Riders is a monster that wasn't really that ready. The game wasn't really that ready for it because they're too fucking strong. Like they're really strong. It has their speed-based units. They deal a lot of damage. They deal a lot of. They give a lot of like Barbara as an instance does so much, and it has. You've seen me use the quad, the Beast Riders, and win against a lot of G3 players just because it's quad Beast Riders, you know. But But yeah, why is this talk happening, Skololol? Because I feel like it. That's why.
Taki
This-
needs content.
No, fuck you, man. No, I just feel like doing. What the fuck?
No, I'm
it's just
joking.
It's when I feel like talking, and if I want to invite someone, if they want to talk, I'll fucking talk with them. There's I see a lot of people wanting me to do a siege. I don't feel like I don't know if I'm going to do it, but maybe. Oh yeah, that's your emote from Mr. Timey.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's influencing Com to us. Nobody fucking influences Com to us, and
It seems like nobody is, but at least we're getting some change. Like,
yeah.
don't you think like this change with the runes, that you be able to sell the runes from the management? For us, it seems like, oh, it's finally.
No, the thing
You know,
is, have you seen this video from Comtus' own YouTube channel? There's this video where you can see from within the studio. They have a lot of Q&A players, Q&A people that plays the game they genuinely love to play the game. So these are the people that complain. I mean, that give them these. I honestly, I might just be shit talking, but I think HQ, South Korea, they listen this much to what we have to say. I might be wrong, but they haven't really given us a reasoning to why that they have listened to us or anything. But they have a Q&A team that avidly plays the game, and they do RTA, and they do play the game just like everyone else. And South Korean the devs most likely listen to those devs. And these Q&A people, they also listen to the player base. So that's where it goes. So us talking, it might have some impact, but I don't really think it has that much impact. But no, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It would be nice to feel like people on Twitch's platform or YouTube have some sort of influence. And if they do, it's nice. There are some big YouTubers like Jubagel, Sean B, Island Rune. We have Foxy.
Taki.
No, we don't have me. Shut the fuck up. But and it would be nice to know if they're they listen. But
I mean, at least the past couple of quality of life
sample as well, of course.
At least the past couple of quality of life changes, they do seem like they listen, but they seem to listen slowly and not not on everything, which is good. I mean, in a way it's good. They can't listen to everything, right?
No,
it's weird, man. It's weird because they're in a very tight spot. They're between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I've played this game for about 5 to 6 years now. David, thank you so much for the tier 1, my man.
He's a friend of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you for the $5. No, but I've played this game for 5 to 6 years now, and and I want to continue playing it. But it's easy to tell someone, if you have complaints, just jump over to another game. We don't want your complaints here. Shut the fuck up. It's healthy for a game for people to complain about the game.
Of course.
It might be misdirected sometimes because most of the complaints are very narrow-minded. But I think in the end, it's better to complain than not to complain, because
you complain about something you love, right?
Yes,
of course.
It's
it's normal to complain about something.
Yeah. And people should complain. It's just most of the time it's misdirected complaints, and they don't really give any reasoning behind their complaints. It's just they can complain for this for the reasoning for the sole purpose of complaining. But yeah,
I mean, yeah. I'm, how can you differentiate between people who do that? It's just they don't give reasons. If you give reasons with your complaints, then you're literally offering the game devs constructive criticism, which they should use. If you give enough reasons, or more people give them reasons. Just complaining on Reddit or on the internet, it's too many procs, or I don't know, something But if you give reasons, okay, this is broken because of this, this, and this, you could fix like this. Yeah, this is constructive criticism, and everyone should appreciate it. The devs should appreciate it. If you give them
100%. But I think the devs listen to the Q&A team rather than looking into like YouTube or Twitch or anything like that. They listen to the Q&A team, and Q&A probably like they jump into some Twitch channels or maybe YouTube channels. And since it's a South Korean Q&A team, most likely they jump into their South Korean Twitch and South Korean YouTube channels, you know. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe they listen to the German people and French people and the English-speaking people. Maybe they do. Who knows?
Swedish people, yeah.
I don't, fuck. Funny enough, there is no. I've never seen a Swedish streamer, like on Twitch, like Swedish-speaking streamer.
But speaking. Yeah. So, you know, like in conclusion, or something that we've been talking, right? It's it's never gonna happen. It's the conclusion. It's never gonna happen, man. It's never gonna happen. They can't fucking balance this game. There are way too many variables. This game.
I mean, never say never, as the great Justin Bieber says.
Yes.
But
I know it's very, you know, disheartening to hear that. Right? Hope you don't feel worse after this.
No, but like, the thing is, maybe they can't change the core. And that's why I always say, please give us Summoners War 2 instead of continuing Summoners War 1. But at the same time, they can't really give us Summoners War 2. I mean, they've tried to give us Summoners War 2, like other mobile games that they create. What was it called? What was this Skylanders shit, you know? They hyped it up so much and it died within a week or two.
Yeah, exactly. Like they have a gem. Like they, you know, we've talked about it at the beginning, I think, of the conversation. It was they have this gem that survived for 6 years. They probably just are very afraid to do something with it, right? Even though it's broken. You know, the saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It is broken. So they just don't want to break it more, probably. But you could fix it just by increments. Modify 3% of something. Don't just modify, like cut the umbilical cord of a unit. I don't know.
Like a kid just running out of the vagina, you know?
Exactly.
So fast. Oh, they grow up so fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's.
I mean, I don't know if that was a good analogy, but yeah.
I mean,
it's some kind of analogy.
Some kind.
Yeah.
It's something. Yeah.
They probably think if they're making money, it's not broken. I mean, yes, that's what we said in the beginning. Like, they probably create. I mean, they're still thinking that this is probably a cash grab because it's still working. It's a mobile game that is making a lot of money for the company, and it's their pride and what do you call it? Pride and glory, whatever you call it. It's their
glory,
it's their umbilical cord. Pride and joy,
yeah, pride and joy. You're right, and
there's no reason
they just
for them.
Don't want to break it. Yeah,
they don't. There's no reason for them to lose money. Like, they can just continue and milk people like this.
Although what they did, right? Like, I did hear some people complaining, like mostly people that spend a lot of money on the game, saying that, oh, how come this new players or how come these free-to-play units can be able to beat my LDNet 5? I paid a lot of money for my LDNet 5, right? I did hear that.
That's why I fucking hate that they're in a deadlock like this.
Exactly. That's...
It shouldn't, like, the people that whale in this game, like, they pay a lot of money into this game, they shouldn't. I mean, it's their, like, they shouldn't deadlock the company just because they pay. The way that I look into the game when I pay for the game is to enhance my enhance my entertainment. Enhance my entertainment. It's not for the sole purpose of yes. Fuck you, come to us. Now I have you in a deadlock. You're not gonna do anything against this, right? I have Arta. You're not supposed to nerf Arta, right? Don't nerf Arta, you motherfucker. Buff him. I paid a lot of money for this. Fuck you if you're gonna do it. What? This poor guy? This poor peasant? Huh? He thinks he's better than me? I paid a lot of money for this shit.
Lord,
Fuck them, Fuck those people.
Yeah.
It should be equal, and nobody should hold them like in a deadlock just because they paid.
Yeah, but
for
they
the
are.
game. Yeah,
and that's why they probably aren't changing.
I don't like. I've paid a hefty sum. Like I have paid a hefty sum. Not as much as like oil princes or whatever the fuck you call them. But I have paid, and I don't care. Like I paid for just the sole purpose of progressing better, and just to catch up, and also getting the rune quality that I wanted, etc. But I don't hold them to deadlock. I wouldn't honestly. I wouldn't mind them to just delete the game and give us Summer Sword 2, even though I paid into the game. But that's my personal opinion, and not all.
Imagine the lawsuits.
Yeah. Yes.
No, you can't do that. I mean, you can. But this digital need to disappear from the face of the earth. Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, I remember I typed something in chat, and what if? I mean, this could change the discussion. That this will change. What if they start a server from scratch? No pay to win. Right. This has been brought up before.
What do you mean?
Like a new global new game, right? New game plus. You can't pay the game. You can't pay money in the game. Everyone starts from scratch.
I mean,
right?
And
that
then
could be like Summoners War 2.
So you're saying that, and then they have their own RTA, not they're not going to match up with
own
anyone
RTA,
else.
Exactly. Yes. Own RTA, own everything. Nobody. Yeah. What do you think about that? Free to play. Summoners War, free to play.
I can't really.
I know
think
you dismissed it when I said it. You said it's not a good idea. I think so. I
don't think I've heard it before.
Maybe you forgot.
The issue with that is that if new players want to come in, they will. Let's say that server has been out for 1 year, and new players come in. They will just complain that why can't I be in this level and they're on this level? Oh shit! I started this game 1 year later. There's no way for me to progress as fast as possible like them. But I mean, I don't know. Like they can complain about everything, anyways. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. It's hard for me to have an opinion of it. Like it's something I have to think about.
Mm-hmm.
If you're pure free to play, you can transfer your account. Nah. Then
no.
that would put them in a disadvantage. But honestly, it wouldn't really put them in a disadvantage. There wouldn't be that many people playing RTA, or maybe you know what? It would put them in a disadvantage because they can do arena rush. They can be rank 1 arena every week. They can be rank 1 RTA every season. They can be rank 1 anything that gives you rewards based on being rank 1.
Yeah.
How do you expect development on a game with no income?
Oh, it's not a new game. It's
not a new
the same game, but with a new server. Just a new server. Same. The everything else stays the same. Just a new server with free to play. Do you think all the players will move?
I would just want to see them do changes. Like I wouldn't mind it. I want to see what happens. I'd like to see. I don't really want to think what can happen. I want to see it happen and see what can happen. I don't want to think
because this game made them a lot of profit, which is good. I mean, of course, it's a company, like some people say. They do think about the money, but they can't. A new game can't sustain this, but Summoners War can sustain a free-to-play server with all the income they are producing from the base game or from the other games. It would be a very nice experiment, and it would be. Sustained or something like that.
It's hard for me to see what will happen. I love how people are complaining about the pay-to-win aspect, but without these pay-to-win, the game would die. Like free-to-play players should shut the fuck up and be thankful that.
Yeah, this is another argument. Yeah.
Can you touch upon that? What is your opinion of people that have that type of opinion?
And I mean, if you think about it, it's 100% true, right? You can't function without people that pay for the game. You could argue like, yeah, why not? Like League of Legends doesn't have pay to win monetary stuff, you know, like pay to have 50% more crit rate on an AD carry, right, or something like that, or. But it's a mobile game and they're a different beast, and it's as Lala says, it's a realistic opinion, but it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse to not also cater to the free-to-play players, right?
Yeah, of course not. That like because the free-to-play players is also the type of players that can I mean, they can. The company will gain profit through the free-to-play players as well, but not in the terms of them paying, but in terms of them exposing the game to more players.
Exactly.
So that's in hindsight, people that are free-to-play, they can complain. They can, of course, complain, but they shouldn't really, because there are people that are paying to play the game. But they're also free-to-play players are the people that can also market the game for the company. Like they can expose it to other players that have never played the game. Oh, guys, yo, you want a game? I have a free-to-play game for you. It's called Summoners War. Just don't open your wallet, but it's still free. You can play it. It's all right. So and it will go into a ripple effect. Like this player will start playing it, and they will find it to be a fun game. And next. It's like the free-to-play players is also not it's not a. Like it's like they're not just a negative part of the game. They're also something.
Oh no!
No, of course not.
And of course, I mean, it's a free-to-play player can also decide to I can spend $5 here, right? Maybe
Sure.
they release something that maybe they're doing the daily pack one. They're buying the daily pack one, and they can use that. So you never know if you make the game enjoyable enough. If the people can afford it, they will pay.
I just want to. So the only thing that we can basically, I mean, the thing that we should take from this is that when pay to win players, they shouldn't hold the game in a deadlock, okay? And the free to play players shouldn't complain about the pay to win players, because they in this sense generate money for the company, and it makes it into a sustainable game for them to continue doing what they're doing. So there's this fucking like bullshit thing, like negative side from being a free to play and pay to win. I don't get the people that are boasting because they're free to play. Oh, I'm 2,000 days into the game, and I'm G3 in RTA. I haven't paid shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some people see it as a achievement, right?
Yeah. They see it as an achievement, like it's but like it's just keep it to yourself, maybe. I mean, if you don't want to look like a toxic player, like a toxic person, or maybe present yourself in a more fashionable manner than saying, "Ha, I'm better than you because I'm free to play." Shut the fuck up, man. Not you.
I want
like
to
the
say
people
something.
that is not you. The people that they're like that does this.
I want to say something. I forgot.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I forgot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People should complain less. You say?
No. No, I complain. As I said, people are complaining about the wrong things most of the time. Like it's as you say, not enough constructive criticisms, and the people that do give constructive criticisms are the people that you should listen to.
Or just take in consideration, right?
Yes,
or
take
just,
into consideration, not just
But
listen to this.
yeah. No, it's really hard to do so because there's also a sea of people telling you something, but how do you choose the ones that give the right opinions? Like for you, maybe it seems it's very, very logical that what you're saying is good, right? But how does come to us now? It's very, very weird. Like you put yourself in, like you're come to us, right? What do? Do you listen to everyone?
Course not.
Do you listen to someone? Do you listen
Of
to
course not.
streamers? Do you listen to
No.
G3? You listen to F2? You listen,
No, you listen to the ones that that give you constructive criticism and constructive criticism in the form that you understand what goes on behind the scenes. You know, like know exactly why they can't do this and give feedback on why what they can do. And help out in that sense. If they don't have a department that can figure that shit out for themselves, then like they can take help from people that have knowledge on how you can change shit. There are companies that have hired players, just because they know the game so well.
Hearthstone, for example.
Yeah. Can you? I mean, there is also. I think even in World of Warcraft and shit. I don't know a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, of course.
There are people that listen to.
Yeah. But apparently, maybe like come to us, being a Korean company, maybe has a very different mentality about it. Maybe they say, "Oh, this is our thing. Nobody should, should." If we listen to one player, maybe they will say, maybe all the players will say, why aren't they listening to me? So maybe that's why they're keeping to themselves and keeping to their own as you said, testing team and stuff like that. It's a different mentality than Blizzard or other, than Valve or something like that. Yeah. So we can't know because
in the end,
they're not transparent enough.
So listen, it's also a gacha company. I mean, it's a gacha game. That in its essence is just a cash grab mentality. It is like just gacha. Overall, is like you make money. It's a casino but in a digital manner.
It's a very cutely dressed casino.
Yeah, but in the end, it's gambling. It is gambling, and it's nothing less or more than gambling. And people might not see it because it's hidden behind a game, and it's hidden behind the fact that you can play this free to play, but also you have the chance of hitting the jackpot and be better than everyone else.
More or less gambling. It's you can't take money out, so it's not exactly gambling, but you do put money in. But in gambling, you can actually win.
Yeah, I mean, no, but in gambling, no, but the thing is, now this is like a philosophical take, because you can find reward in different ways. Like some people don't really give a fuck about getting rewarded in money. They might want to be rewarded in the game that they love the most. I mean, there's different type of rewarding scenarios. Some people just like the physical aspect of it, getting like a $500 into your hand. Some people just want a Arta in your phone.
Yeah, it's emotional gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true, and a lot of the industry and a lot of the gaming industry is taking cues from the mobile games. Like the best example was Overwatch, who started this loot box thing with in-game gambling. In-game gambling.
Okay.
And it's really sad because a lot of people suffer from this. And
I've never played Overwatch. They have in-game gambling.
Loot boxes.
Loot boxes, because Steam has had that for a very long time.
Yeah.
It is. But okay, no, not really, because Steam didn't have it implemented in their own system. There were third parties that had gambling connected to Steam in some sort. So you could still, like, this aspect has been
CS:GO.
Yeah, CS:GO and even Dota.
Dota. Yes, Yes, they do. But people that say that this is cosmetics, like someone in chat, it's cosmetics. But you need to. I mean, this is almost a different kind of subject, but this is very detrimental to some people's mental health that have problems, that see every loot box as gambling, and this has been proven that people spend money even on Overwatch, which is just cosmetics, just because they're attracted to the idea of a loot box. And it's very, very unhealthy for everyone. And there are some states or some countries that have classified loot box as gambling. I think it was Belgium or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. That they did. They don't have loot boxes anymore. Yeah. So yes, it is gambling, as you said. More in a way emotional gambling. You don't win anything. Don't win money by.
No, I mean gambling in its essence is something you pay something and you want to be rewarded. It doesn't matter if it's in a physical or in a digital manner. Like it's you put in something of your something that you own in the chance of maybe doubling it. That's gambling. It's not as like it's not just like it's as simple as you give something and you want to have and you want to double it. It's so hard for me to explain it in English, but
No, yeah.
But and it's not just you pay money and you want more money back. It's like anything is gambling. Like you pay money and you want and you want an Artemil back. There is like, do you call what are those called? These machines with dolls in the fuck, what is it called? A claw.
Yeah, claw machine.
The claw machine. Do you consider that gambling?
Yes, it is gambling with a bit of a twist. Especially but everybody knows like those machines are rigged, right? You can't win only when the machine decides you get to win. More games like chances, and even with video games, it's different degrees, right? In CS:GO, let's say, you get loot boxes, which you get cosmetics, but you can actually get money from those. Like but in Overwatch you can't, let's say, right? Or stuff like that. So there are different degrees of gambling which you could say they're in video games. And I did saw someone in chat says that in Belgium in FIFA you can't even use money in the game anymore because it's so addicting, and it actually makes even smaller younger players get addicted to those in-game mechanics of gambling. Yeah, so it's it's a very, very big problem in the world. But and this game is literally made from Summoner's Wars is literally made from gambling.
Yeah, I mean that's not like a lot of people don't really see it, like because they don't really know the fundamental. I mean the fundamentals behind gambling. Like just because you don't get money back doesn't mean it's not gambling. It's still gambling.
And you gamble with your time. You gamble, and that's also part of gambling.
I mean, you're gambling for more happiness, basically. That's the reward you want. As you said, emotional happiness. I mean, emotional. I mean, happiness is something emotional, but yeah.
Gambling for dopamine. Yeah, and Summoner's War doesn't even have a pity system, right? Only in the Japan server.
What do you? What is pity system? I've heard a lot of it from Epic 7 and.
So in Hearthstone, I know about the that's the first where I first heard about the pity system. Is that after let's say I'm throwing out an arbitrary number, but after 46 packs opening, you're guaranteed to have a legendary in the game. So it would be like after, let's say, 100 LDs, you would be guaranteed, or not 100, but let's say after 200 LDs, you'd be guaranteed an ad 5 or something like that. So it's literally a safety net in case you are really, really having a bad luck. Or in 20 mystics, you'll get a lighting, something like that.
I think that's, I don't know. Like, I honestly think that could be something good, but that will also take away something that some other people will not agree with it, and some people will agree with it, because it's always this two sides. Yeah, I mean, that's two sides of the coin. I think a pity system, if you summon this amount and you don't get shit, you will feel bad. You will feel fucking annoyed, and then you have your best friend next to you just summoning 2 scrolls while you summon 500 scrolls. You don't get shit, and he summons 2 scrolls and he get double net 5, and it basically. In summary, he basically fucking beat him up. No, but it's just it's the RNG aspect of the game. But I think if the pity system isn't really that bad in its essence, because it also could benefit RTA for Summoners War. But
do you think they could add it now? After 6 years of people buying?
No, not really, because because I mean, that's why I'm saying that people that pay, like there are these people that hold the company in a deadlock.
Yeah.
What do you mean pity system? I paid this amount of money. What the fuck is this shit? I mean, that's what's gonna happen, and it's what you say essentially, that a lot of lawsuits might come from that.
A lot of tables will be flipped.
A lot of turnable tables. But I think it comes up to opinions, and a lot of people might say nay. A lot of people might say yay. I would probably say yay, because I think it's a more healthy approach to a gacha game.
Exactly. That's the problem. It's more healthy, but it's not healthy for them. Well, not that it's not healthy. They should have done it from the beginning, because if they do it now, then like, I do think, like, as we talked, right? What you say, what people say, does have weight to them, but I think the most the weightiest people, if that's not the word, but you know what I mean, are those also who paid a lot. They can't implement the pity system because X has paid $20,000 or $200,000 in the game, and they will literally just march in the headquarters and bang their dick on the table.
But that's like buying a full option car, and in 6 years some cheap ass car comes on the market for half the price, but with the same options. I mean, it's the same thing as basically. I mean, I don't know if it's the same fundamental meaning behind it, but it's like you buy a PlayStation 3 and then the PlayStation 4 comes out. I don't know, like.
Yeah, you could argue it, right? Like, you had your chance to get ahead with more money earlier in the game, but right now everyone needs a fair chance. And no, I'm not referring to anyone specific. I'm just saying, like, right? It's it could be, right?
Pity takes away the satisfaction of hunting or summoning something. Yeah, I know, but that's also the toxicity behind it. That's also the toxicity of the gambling aspect of it, but like, I don't know, I don't think they can implement it now. I would be really pleasantly surprised that they would take a ballsy move like that if they did.
And you know what will happen? Like, people will say, the game is dying. They implemented the pity system, now the game is dying. So they implemented because the game is dying or something like that.
I mean, isn't Transcroll a pity system?
Yeah.
But I mean,
an expensive pity system.
it's a pretty expensive pity system, but it's a pity system.
I guess, right? Yeah. I mean, they do give us one free one, right, for every account. Free, and just to spend your time in the game.
I don't think people have rights to complain that they've spent before getting a pity system. When you spend money, you know what you're spending it for, and that stuff can be changed. It's a similar situation. I mean, anyone has the right to complain, and they can complain. It's nothing. You can't really stop people from complaining. They will always complain. But if it's right to complain, who knows? I mean, like if
everyone has the right to complain.
Yeah, everyone has the right to complain, but if it's correct to complain about it, I don't know.
Oh no, like 95%, it's not. 95% of the time, like, people complaining just because they had either a bad day or a bad game, or just don't know how to play, right? I can complain. Let's say, I can't get past I don't know what rank. It's the game. It's broken, but maybe I just don't know how to play, right? It's very hard for people to hear that.
Yeah. I think we covered a lot of shit. There's so much we can talk about. Like there's so much. And we will never get to the end of it. But the consensus basically is the company is in a tight spot to do changes, but I don't think it should deter them from doing changes. I think they should do ballsy approach, but in the end, they don't want to really risk losing money. So it's basically c'est la vie. It's like you say, it's fucking impossible almost.
It's impossible. They're not gambling with their own game, right? Or they're not gambling with their gambling game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I
want to just read this last part. Taki, in my opinion, the problem with balance patches could be fixed with either more impactfulness or frequency. Yeah, I know. They could keep doing their current type of patch, but more frequently, somewhere minor. Yeah, that's exactly what I've always wanted them to do, is to be more frequent. Maybe implement a rotation that makes it more diverse so that we don't really need to ask for... I mean, for me, who only play RTA, this will only cater to us that play RTA and just play the game for RTA specifically, is if they implement a diversity like this rotation thingy into RTA, then I will have less then you would see me complain less about not getting balance patches, because in essence the reason I want balance patches is only because I want change. And if they implement a rotation, and I want change in RTA, and if they implement rotation into RTA, that means I can get change bi-weekly or every 3 weeks. So I don't really need a balance patch that often, because I have this change just by like this standard change that comes every 2 or 3 weeks to see something different in the chessboard, or whatever you call it.
Yes, that's true. But let's say if you don't enjoy one of the 2 weeks, right?
Your pussy is
maybe
crying.
Yeah, I know. You like one?
No. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I forgot what
I'm sorry.
You know,
I'm very sorry.
We're very alike with this.
I just couldn't. I just heard him or her that often.
Okay,
so I just wanted to mention it. It was a wrong time.
No, it's funny. No, it's funny.
No, what I said was diversity in terms of rotations in RTA, so that I don't need to.
Yeah,
ask for
what happens when you will stop playing, let's say, for 2 weeks, or you'll just power through if you don't like a rotation in one of the 2 weeks, one segment, one increment of this rotation.
So here's the thing. I'd rather have that than having the state that it's currently in. I don't know. It might be a very it's very selfish approach, of course, but since we don't see that many balance patches that changes the RTA in its essence, I'd rather have that so that it that I know that I will have some kind of a change into RTA every 3 or 2 weeks. Even if I don't like it, I'd rather have that.
It would, yeah, I would really like to hear from them what's their opinion on this rotation, because it does sound very good. And it, you know, thinking from even a viewer standpoint of the stream or RTA, would be really interesting to see what with, or yeah, it would be interesting. But
Yeah. I mean, rather do something than not doing it. I mean, it's also very healthy to see some changes. Like, even if it's a shit change, they can easily just remove it if it didn't work. But sure, they might lose some of their players. Who knows? But if they're transparent enough and say that we will do this as a testing phase, and then remove it if it doesn't work, then people should be staying, you know? Like, there's no reason for people to quit.
I know, but from a development standpoint, this would be, you know, just going back and forth, confusing people. They are very afraid of confusing people. And of course, you who play every day or almost every day, and who reads, or at least reads chat, who tell you what balance patch or you know, changes happen. For the majority of people, this would be very, very confusing. They will say, "Oh, what? This is not the game I used to play like 2 weeks ago, right?" And they are afraid of those players just abandoning the game, probably, because it's, again, yes, it would be great. It would be great to listen.
I thought my stream died because suddenly we went from like 400 to 0. So I just wanted to know if we were still live or not.
Yeah, you better do some RTA.
So listen, guys, I don't do this talk just like for anyone who's watching. I just do this because I enjoy this. Like, I invited Alex to this because I wanted to know his take. A lot of people complaining that I'm not doing Siege and RTA. You know what, guys? Shut the fuck up.